YouTube! Man, if you're seeing this video right now, you are definitely spending some downtime with the meal. Man, I hope you all are having a fantastic Sunday, and I hope you've had a chance to watch Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, because this is going to be a spoiler review. I'm going to talk about the main spoiler points in the movie, what I thought about it, and I'm just going to basically get into that in just a moment. So if you hadn't seen Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, this is what you need to do. I'm going to leave a link to my no spoiler review at the end of this video that I'm doing. So you can go and check that out. Go see Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker if you want to, and then come back here, check out my spoiler review, and let's have a conversation about it where you can discuss any spoilers you want to. But before we get into that, if you're new to this channel and if you like the content that I produce, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Share this video, hit that notification bell. Man, you'll be notified every time I produce a new video on this channel. Now, man, I gotta tell you, I know there's a lot of hate for this movie. And you know what? And the way I'll say this is like this. If you don't like the movie, that's cool, it's no problem. Life goes on. But this may not be the video for you. You may want to go to another video where they may rant about it, and that's cool. It's, you know, it's a free country. You can, you know, rant about it, whatever. But I'm telling you, when you're watching this video, it's not going to be a rant. I actually enjoyed the movie. If you saw my previous no spoiler review, then you already know that. I enjoyed it. I'm cool with it. So with that said, let's get into some spoilers. And these spoilers may not be necessarily in the order of the movie, so it is what it is, but I'm just gonna go through what I thought were some of the main spoilers in this movie. So here we go. So the first thing, the Millennium Falcon at the beginning of the movie, near the beginning, is doing some really, really cool stuff with what they call, I believe it's called hyperspace jumping. And the sequences, man, they were phenomenal. They were going from like different worlds, different environments while they were escaping these rebel ships that they were being chased by. And I gotta tell you, the CG and the visuals on that part was amazing. I do believe, in my honest opinion, that this was one of the strongest, and I do mean one of the strongest parts of this movie from a visual standpoint. It was truly, truly spectacular. That part was. The trailer does a really good job of misdirecting the viewer. Man, they're almost doing some stuff like what Marvel does with some of those Avengers trailers, how they put the Hulk here and he's not really there in the movie. Well, not quite on that level, but kind of similar to that. So there's a point in the trailer where C-3PO is saying, I want to take one last look at my friends. And, you know, it leads you to think that he's actually getting ready to die, but he's not dying. What he's basically getting ready to do is have his memory wiped so that he can read some sort of encrypted message. And I forgot exactly the details on that part, but it was an encrypted message that he couldn't read without having his memory wiped. So he doesn't die, as the trailer alludes to. So another spoiler about this movie is Dark Rey. In the trailer, you see Dark Rey, and she has that double, looks like a double lightsaber, looks like a switchblade, double lightsaber. It leads you to believe that Rey has went over to the dark side. And, you know, I think from the trailer, we probably thought that for a moment, but I think a lot of people just knew that it was a vision that she had, which was true. It ended up being a vision. She ended up seeing herself in the dark side. She has a brief lightsaber battle with herself, and, you know, it ends. It's like a real quick battle, maybe just like 5 seconds, and then that part is over with. But Rey does not go over to the dark side. So the trailer kind of leads you to think that, but it doesn't really happen. So another spoiler in the movie is that Princess Leia actually dies in the movie. And it's an interesting sequence how it happens, because what happens is Kylo and Rey are in the middle of an epic lightsaber battle. You just hear shung, shung. I mean, it's and all that. It is a lot of stuff going on where they're battling, with the raging water on top of the Death Star, and you know what is left of the Death Star. And so, man, they're just having this epic battle. And then at the same time, Leia is trying to reach out to Kylo because they're really trying to get him over to the light side. And so it takes everything that she has in her to reach him, right? And so in the middle of this battle, you can see that Kylo gets distracted just a little bit because he knows that his mother is reaching out to him. And at that point, that's when Rey impales him with his own lightsaber. I think it's his own lightsaber, or is it his? I forgot. But either way, she impales him with the lightsaber. And at that point, you hear Leia say, "Ben." And then she just, slowly dies. Or she just dies. I don't know if it's slowly. But at that point, that's when Leia dies. And it's kind of a sad moment. I think some people may have known that was going to happen. Of course, Carrie Fisher did pass away in real life, so it is kind of a fitting tribute, but it's definitely an honorable death, I would say. And that really, like I said in my previous review, I do believe that they sent off Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher's character, out just the way that it should need to be sent out. So I think that was done really, really well. Now, after that moment where Rey gets impaled, where Kylo gets impaled, Rey actually heals Kylo. And she's kind of alluding to the fact that, earlier in the movie, Kylo wanted Rey to take his hand and come to the dark side. And after Rey heals Kylo, she basically says, to him right after she heals him, she says, I wanted your hand, but I wanted Ben's hand. Which kind of alludes to something a little funny because it's like, okay, what does this really, really mean? You want Ben's hand? Foreshadowing. Stay tuned. So after that point, or at some point in the movie, you find out that Rey is the daughter of Palpatine. Whoa. Let that sink in your mind just for a moment. Rey is the daughter of Palpatine. This spoiler right here is probably one of the biggest spoilers in the whole movie, in all honesty. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Unless you just, read spoilers about the movie before it came out or something like that. I know the theater that I was in, I heard people say, whoa. There was a lot of reaction to that part in the movie when it was revealed. Actually, Kylo Ren was the one who revealed that to Rey. And so she's a Palpatine. But what's interesting is you kind of see some foreshadowing with that at a part in the movie where Chewbacca, I forgot the details, it's kind of escaping me right now, but there's a part in the movie where Chewbacca gets captured by rebel troops or stormtroopers. And then you see the ship, that he's owned, that they basically take him in. He gets, taken away. The ship is about to fly away. So Rey sees the ship. She uses her force power to bring the ship down. And as Kylo Ren sees this, he sees the ship and he's trying to make the ship go away. And so they're using their force powers against each other to try to do the respective things that they're trying to do with taking the ship away and bringing it back. And Rey uses all of her power and you see lightning shoot from her hand. And it is like, whoa, where did that come from? How did you get lightning in your hand? Because there's only one person that we've ever really seen do that, and that was Palpatine. That was the first clue right there. Interesting, though. So then, another spoiler in the movie I thought that was interesting and this isn't a real spoiler, but it's just something that happens. Luke appears as a Force ghost. At this point in the movie, Rey is pretty much at a point where she's kind of given up. She just doesn't have it in her anymore to continue, and so she's ready to just pretty much take up what Luke was doing. She goes to an island, she's burning all of the Jedi books, and just as she takes Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, she's getting ready to throw it into the fire, and that's when Luke shows up and grabs the lightsaber, and he just basically starts encouraging her and telling her that, you've got 1,000, we're all behind you. And then, you know, it's just where you see him basically just encouraging her and saying, you know, you got this, you can do this, you're a Jedi, you know, we're all behind you. And so at that point, that's where you see the Force ghost of Luke, and that's really cool. And so there's a point in the movie where Kylo actually goes to the light, and that is interesting. Kylo actually gets converted to the light, and so when this happens, Kylo is actually helping Rey defeat Palpatine. But in the process, Palpatine uses his Force to send Kylo off of a cliff, and it looks like he's dead at that point, but he's not dead. So, and this is another interesting point in the movie. I thought this was kind of funny. I thought they borrowed something. You'll see what I'm talking about. So Rey is in the battle with Palpatine, right? And so Rey has both of her, well, let's see, she has Luke's saber and she has Leia's saber. And so Palpatine is just shooting lightning at her, and she's using it like this to kind of, you know, deflect the lightning back to him. And so at a certain point in the battle, Palpatine says something like, "And I am all of the Sith." And then Rey says, "And I have all of the Jedi." What did that remind you of? Did that not remind you of, "And I am Iron Man"? I know for a fact when I saw that, that reminded me of that part in Avengers Endgame. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they probably borrowed that concept or idea right there. So, wrapping this up, let's see. The last real big spoiler is that after Rey defeats Palpatine, she basically is dead. She uses everything she has in her and she is dead. And so at that point, that's when you see a hand come up from the edge of the cliff. That is Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo now. And so he comes up, he's just barely clinging to life, and he, you know, picks up Rey and looks at her, and Rey's head is just back like this, eyes open, because she's gone. And so Ben, Kylo Ren, uses his Force to bring Rey back to life. And then after that, there's this moment where they kiss. And when they kissed, I saw it coming, man. I just knew there was like a romantic connection from, I believe it was Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Because, I don't know, I just felt like some kind of way when they were doing that Force, I call it Force Skyping, where they could see each other in their own environment, but they weren't in the same place. I just felt like, man, there is a possibility they might hook up. And it did look that way. And it did actually happen for a brief moment. But then guess what? Right then at that point, after they kiss, Kylo Ren dies. His body turns into a ghost and disappears, and the clothes flatten to the ground, and that's it. And so probably the last big thing in the movie is that Rey ends up going to this planet. I forgot where she's from. And there's a lady that says, "There's been no one here all this time. Who are you?" And then Rey says, "My name is Rey." And the lady says, "Rey who?" And she sees a Force ghost of Luke and Leia. And she says, "Rey Skywalker." And the movie is over. And so that is really my spoiler review of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I personally enjoyed this movie. I know it's a lot of hate for the movie. Like I said, man, in the other video that I did, you know, good or bad, it's the end of an era. And when I go to a movie, I just want to, am I being entertained? You know, I thought the movie was entertaining. I've seen it twice. I will be buying it on Blu-ray. Was it the best Star Wars movie ever? No, it wasn't. But to me, I enjoyed it. And if I enjoyed it, that's all that matters. If you hated it and that's how you feel, well, that's all that matters to you. So I'm not going to argue about this movie. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's entitled to it. So it is what it is. Anyway, that was my spoiler review of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. What did you think about this movie? Post your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, on the way out, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, subscribe, tell your friends about Downtime with DeMille. You can also follow me on Twitter at DeMilleHunt. And here is the link to my no spoiler review of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Have an awesome day. If you can see this video, you're blessed. And as always, what are you gonna do in your downtime? Peace. Subscribe!